Every editing software has the same set of basic tools. The import, the cut, trim, and delete, the volume, the export.
At least I hope. Otherwise, you probably just wasted your time.
And what I'm here to talk about today, a title or text feature. Like I said, all of these tools are basic, but they're also the most important. Because of this, they all have something in common. How you decide to use them will shape the entire video. And from what I've learned, the exact same thing applies to styling your text and titles. If done properly, they can be the easiest way to enhance your video. If done poorly, there's a chance your video will feel off. Here's what I've learned through 3 years of video editing and also starting to create my own content about finding the best font and text style for you, and also a fun and easy way to create one that no one else will ever have.
So there are pretty much 3 main ways that I end up using text for my videos. Those are titles, like what I did with this iPad video, subtitles, like I do with all my short form content, and then in graphics. But before I typed out any of that, there were a few key decisions that I made. And those things are the font, the color, the style, and the animation. The goal is to make like the text and the style of it feels like it's part of you or a part of your content. And actually a bit later in this video, I'm gonna be making a font style that you can do the same thing too, where it can literally only be yours. It's a very simple but also unique way to customize your text. But first I'm gonna show you how I made the text that I use in my videos, but I'm also gonna go over how I would make different text and text styles based on other topics of videos and different style of creators. Even when I was doing client video editing, no matter what type of creator they were or style of videos they made, I followed the same set of steps to make the text style. And of course, the most important, biggest decision was always about the font. The simplest way to do it is just take note of who you are and the types of videos you make. I think I'm a pretty simple guy. I kind of rock with the clean and minimalist aesthetic. I mean, even if you look at my clothes, like there's no brand name on them. Typically, I don't wear anything with logos, just a solid, clean color. And I'm a big fan of like the MacBook aesthetic, so that was kind of just the overall vibe I was going for. And I wanted to make videos with the style of it kind of being bright. It's going to be relatively simple, visually pleasing, but just very natural overall. So after looking through a bunch of fonts and downloading them and playing around with them, the one that really resonated with me the most was Dosis. Specifically the semi-bold variant. I was honestly a fan how it looked very normal, very regular, but it had a little bit more smoothness than other fonts. And by the way, the best places that I've found to look for fonts is dafont.com, FontShare, and FontSpace. I actually like how in most of these websites they let you type out a few words almost as a test just to see what it would look like in that font before you actually ever download it. So the next step of developing my text style was adding things like an outline, an outer glow, a drop shadow, a background, or I guess to be more specific, choosing to add it or not add it. This also includes the face color of the text, and to kind of keep up with the minimalist vibe, I went with white. Well, technically off-white, just slightly different than a pure white, which to me looks a little bit better. Most people will probably never notice. Outlines and outer glows can both be really helpful to develop a style, but for, again, the vibe I was going for, something just like a soft drop shadow worked better. Now the next decision was an animation. I was in between having a very subtle zoom in at the start of the text or just nothing at all. And again, I kind of backtracked to what are my videos about and what are my values of my videos. And one that kept coming up is authenticity. And to me, like, I don't even know if there's right words to explain it, but having no animation at all just felt more authentic. This might kind of sound like I'm just like reading too far, too deep into it. But I think listening to those gut feelings that are like, oh, this feels right or this doesn't feel right, is kind of the difference between having a text that suits you or not. Specifically, since the content I make is revolving kind of around me and my creative life, I do think that it's actually incredibly important to listen to those gut feelings. So this is my final text style. Like I said, it's usually in semi-bold, but sometimes I actually like to use extra light just to kind of accent it. So those are the steps I've always followed and found the best results making text styles from. So now I'm gonna make a few more of totally different styles. So the first one on my list is gaming videos. Most of the videos I edited for clients were gaming. So as far as font, usually I use something all caps, something that really just grabbed your attention. I almost always had an outline on the text. And you know what's really gamery? Little animations. So I just keyframed starting it at about 80%, then up to a little over 100%, and then back down to 100%. And it's just little pop. And I did this for almost all of my clients. Now the next one I'm going for is a cinematic style, or whatever really the internet deems as that. I feel like a true cinematic font is never going to be the same, because something for Dune is not going to be the same feeling as something for Transformers. So instead, I'm kind of going to go for that luxury, the classy, the travel. And I think that's what the internet would consider cinematic. That looks a little too old-fashioned. Maybe if I was going for like a Roman Empire font, it's a little too artsy for me. See, Dosis, that's the font I use, but this is like the ultra light version. I go for a little bit thicker one, but I would consider that cinematic. But I do like this one too. So now for the color of the cinematic font, maybe something kind of touching into the reds and yellows. Now I mentioned finding an artsy font, so I'm gonna make a more artsy style. I think this is the one. I kind of like that. That looks pretty artsy to me. I think the thing is about more of these artsy and cinematic styles of fonts, so much of the character of that style is in the font itself that the more you add to it, the less it actually does. So for this, I really don't think I'd add anything else. Now it's time to get my suit and tie on, because I'm making a corporate style one. This is gonna be boring, I'm just gonna blow through it. I think Helvetica in the light will be perfect. Again, if I was really doing this for a client, it would heavily depend on what industry their corporation is in, or business, or whatever. Because if it's a restaurant, that's gonna be a little bit different than if it's a manufacturing company, you know? But I think this general style of just clean, nothing really stands out about it. It's just a safe option that I think a lot of corporate style videos would end up using. Now last, and maybe least, to be completely honest, I'm gonna be making kind of like a TikTok-y, like a drama, Mr. Beast, over-edited type of style of text. I'm gonna make the type of thing that when I see the videos pop up, I usually scroll, because they are brain rot. Talking about how feelings can be represented in just text style, I saw a video once that used the Mr. Beast style of text and font and all of that, and something just felt so off about it. It was a video talking about something happening with some wars, and you know, I'm not here to get political, but something about that text made me feel off. And it's because I think that text is used strictly for entertainment. Putting that over a video of something so real and something so dark, it just felt so dystopian. The goal is to make it as obnoxious and visually noisy as possible. Anything to draw your attention away for 3 seconds. I'm just gonna turn on everything here. I am gonna add an animation to this. The trick is you gotta make sure you only put 1 to 3 words per line, so it's as much text popping up on the screen at once. You know, gotta lower people's attention span as much as possible. That's the goal with this one. I think we just go full zoom in like that. Speed it up. You can also do the crop in, so it's like as they talk, you can hit them with the TikTok, and then the next line, drama. Anyway, that was actually kind of fun. I was just going through and creating things to the best of my ability, whatever felt right. I still think this one's the best, you know, no bias. It's mine, that's the one I use. There's a lot of bias. Oh, like I said, there's a way to make a custom text that literally no one else can do. And that is by making your own font, because your handwriting in a way is almost like your fingerprint. In fact, for like crime scenes, I think they even hire specific people to identify handwriting. Everyone has one that's just a little bit different. So to utilize that little bit of difference, this is a great way, and simple way really, to customize your videos, especially for a good handwritten font.
Now here's how I did this. I think it's best to use a phone or tablet. I have an iPad, so that's what I'm gonna use.
And in fact, I know you can do it with a mouse and keyboard, but at that point, I don't know if it's really your handwriting. It's more of just the way you move the mouse. But anyway,
I use the website Calligrapher. It is totally free to make your own font, but you do need to sign up and make an account. I'm sure there are other ones out there, but this seemed to be the most popular pick after some quick research. All you need to do is navigate and download their font templates. Then you can use any type of software you have where you can draw over an image. I use Sketchbook, which is a free app, and all you need to do is just write as normally as possible. I purposefully left some minor mistakes in there. I wanted to make sure it was as real to my handwriting as possible, which to begin with is quite imperfect. Once you finish this, do what you gotta do to get it uploaded and exported right back into the Calligrapher website. So I took my font file, renamed it so people know that it's in fact my handwriting and not a middle schooler's. Although, what's the difference? And I downloaded it to my MacBook. I then opened up my editing software, and there it was. My own handwriting is now a usable font. This would have been perfect for a note graphic that I used in my recent video. And during the recording of this video, I came up with the second idea for a custom font. So pretty much, I've been recording vlogs, kind of as just behind the scenes and documentations of what I'm doing day to day, as far as whatever relates to creation. And I kind of got this idea for the font because during the video, I talk about what day it is since it's a week in the life vlog. And I kind of just wanted to have a font that stands out as a little bit smooth, a little bit classy, elegant, but
also raw with the whole handwriting idea, because it is a raw behind the scenes and a raw look into the creative side of my life. So yeah, the second font I'm making is a more elegant, almost cursive handwritten font. It's not supposed to be real cursive because I don't really think that's trendy anymore. I don't even know if they still teach cursive in schools. I mean, they did when I went, but this is my 4th try on this W. Still not what I want. Nah, it's too weird. I think that's good. Like I said, I'm not trying to get it perfect, but I am also trying to get it a little bit more, you know, good. Maybe the E, I'll go more like, I don't know about that. I like that. So yeah, I think that's good. I think that keeps a pretty okay balance of it being handwritten while also having that personalized vibe that I like. I've actually never made a font before this video, so even just the idea that I'm doing it again and coming back to do it shows that it's pretty easy. This one's definitely taking a little more effort because I'm trying to get it a little bit nicer. It's also the angle I'm holding the iPad. I'm doing it so you can see it on my second camera, so it's your fault if it turns out bad. It's just putting that out there. For that one, I did give it the classic cursive R because I think most people know that that is an R, and that actually turned out really smooth, actually. Again, this is all like intuition based. I'm just going off what I imagined. Like, this idea of making this font came to me when I was actually in the middle of cutting up some of the footage. So again, I'm just acting on that, oh, this would be cool, because that's when I really think cool creations are made. It's gonna be different for everyone, just like people's handwritings. I think you can only do one font at a time in the free version, but like, I'm really not gonna complain because, you know, it's free. Yeah, that looks pretty good. maybe not that good, but it's what I was going for, so there's that. Then we could go to build font, go ahead and install that onto my MacBook, and then I'm just gonna test it out real quick just to make sure it's as amazing as I know it is. Just to put in some more capitalized letters. There we go, just some random text. This is my handwritten smooth and regular handwritten. I think I like the lowercase better on this. Like, I like how the H turned out. I'm glad I did that with the R. But yeah, this is definitely like an accent font. I won't be using this for a lot of videos. That's the thing, you can make it for a specific type of video, and that's, I guess, the beauty of customizing a font. And of course, the thing that I found most important is that your style of text just matches the vibe, the color palette, the personality, and I guess just the overall visual style of your video. And what works with me will not work for everyone. That's the whole point of it being a custom, personalized choice. It's important to know why to choose certain styles and not just how to choose certain styles, because at the end of the day, it's the concept that you need to understand, that it's your choice for what you see fits. So hopefully me sharing what I learned about text out there is helping somebody, and maybe you can implement a few things into your own creations. Now, for a perfectly fitting use case of a title card, thanks for watching.